Okay, and now to review Transformers Legacy Slipstream. And I have no versions of this character. It's a bit of a weird character. It's just one of those, like, what was the first version of this? Like, animated, maybe? I don't know. It's a weird little femme seeker kind of thing. I'm not against it. Except for in the Cyberverse series where they give it male body, female body, male body, female body, male body. Sure, modern society, whatever, get over it. It is a remouldy paint of Windblade from the same line, and I want to say this alt mode fits Slipstream better than Windblade. I don't know. It's got little landing gear at the front, but then little tail fins at the back. So as it lands, these are going to get scraped off, explode, and then it'll put the landing gear down, which doesn't make sense, but for argument's sake, you can sit it like that if you want. Or you can just fold that up and fold up, and just put it like that. Sure, whatever. See, Windblade was always made out to be like smooth and slick and stylish and all the rest of it, and because the body changes on Slipstream, you're a bit more forgiving about not necessarily having what you would imagine be this body shape. So this being, well, pointy, stop, flat, wide. It's a really weird shape. I'm not saying there aren't planes like this, but like, it's just like a pointy, bam, force that open, bam. It doesn't seem that aerodynamic, but it's nice enough. It's quite pretty. Random triangles on top, which, you know, you definitely can't guess what they are. Little, possibly guns molded into the tips of the wing, or ends of the wings. And you can, of course, because it's a Windblade retool, change the propellers so they go forward. So you can pretend you're in tailspin or something. Does anyone else remember tailspin, or am I just old? Cockpit is quite nice. Looks like there's a moulded chair and stuff in there. That's quite nice. Turn around. Visible hand syndrome. Well. Visible toe syndrome. Alright, fine. Big thrusters on the back. Okay. Seem a little low down. I don't know if that would make a difference. I don't know. Generally speaking, I do quite like this mould. Now, let me just put these flat, because I think I might have to. Some people might be like, hang on, something missing from that. What's missing from there, Ugly? There's something missing from that. And I'm like, yeah, all right, fine, there is. There is something missing that I forgot to put on. Now, you know on certain figures like 86 Blur, you got the weapons and it just looks a bit silly sticking out the front, but in your mind's eye, you can just sort of blend that out and look at the actual vehicle rather than, you know. Yeah, just keep that kind of thing in mind. Because she comes with some classic Seeker null rays. You know what? Those are some proper Seeker null rays. Those are awesome. I like this. They're really cool. And they don't suit her in the slightest in any mode. Not even slightly. Sorry if that spoilers for the whole review, but let's have a look. So in this mode, there are ports here, which you can't get to because of the wings and the arms. There are the thrusters, if you really want to. There are ports there, which are obscured by the wings. So basically, it just comes to the wing ports being here, which again, you can't get to because of the arms, and here. So, by default, you've only got one space you can put them, that I've found anyway, and that interferes with the fans, so you can't actually pose the fans while you're at it. And I dropped one of those, give me a second. So let's put these on. You might be starting to see my issue with them from here, but well, you know, let's give it a chance. So, there. They not seem a little bit too far forward? A little bit too long? You know, not... Like, if the peg was more towards the front, like here, rather than all the way back there, at least you'd have a bit of what would probably be, the power supply rather than the barrel. That'd just sit further back. It wouldn't look as awkward. But as it is, they just stick right out the front of the wings and just... I don't know, it doesn't quite work for me. Just something about it doesn't quite work for me. You'll see it more in robot mode, trust me. But all in all, I quite like this mode. This mode is pretty good. The colours, you could say they're a bit awkward, but they are the Slipstream colours, so you get what you're given. Transform it. Let's pop these things off. Try not to pop the wings loose. Right. Okay, so we're going to turn it upside down, and can you guess how this transforms? Pretty much. There's a couple of little twists to it, but yeah, pretty much. So we're going to fold the wings, and they've got this tab that goes into that slot there. See that? So we'll pop that out and pop that out. Then we're going to untab the hands from these pegs and from there. Then we're going to get this, and you see that tab there goes through this panel with the fin on it. So I'm going to pop that, come on, loose and loose. And now we're basically going to combine towards this with a slight twist, and these might fall down while I'm doing it, so bear with me. So we're going to fold it out, and this combiner was down, but then you've also got this piece on a hinge. So I'm going to get this into place, and then these just fall down and fill in the backs of the legs. And it's more awkward to get it into jet mode than it's robot mode, because when you're doing it this way, you have to get these out of the way and then hinge these up, and they'll want to go with them. You need to pull them down, and they sort of sit around the engine. So it's a little bit fiddly going the other way, but we'll hinge these out, get them into place, bring this down. Come on, get this down into place, good. I'm going to get the tail fin, I'm going to rotate it all the way through, and it might come back with the, it'll come back with the toe, so you'll have to push it through again until it locks into place. Fold back the tail fins, and separate, and spin it around. And that, boys and girls, was the hardest part of the transformation. Honestly, that's it, that's the hardest part. This bit is really simple. Should I tilt the camera up a bit? There we go. So what we do is we separate this, and I believe it's this side that doesn't come with the nose cone. We'll find out soon enough. So we'll separate it. Yeah, there you go. Separate it to about there. Unpeg it, because there are a tab here and here that go into slots there and to there. Bring it out a little bit. Double hinge these into the purpley bit. To there. Close it back up. Tab it all back together. Fold the little nose up, and bring us around so this little tab goes into a little slot there. So you got to sort of line that up and tab it in, and then it's just adjusting the wings to your preference, which is probably about there. And there she is. And you know what? That's a perfectly serviceable Fembot Seeker. Perfectly serviceable, looks really good. You can clearly see Windblade in it, but who cares? I'm not a fan of Windblade, so if someone wants to steal her thunder, I'm all for that. Get him out of the way. So she's got a little Decepticon symbol, and this, would it be like a faux cockpit kind of shape? I don't know. It's a different colour, but whatever. The head is quite pretty, but just feels like it's too big. It doesn't look that bad on camera. But if you think petite, little, tiny, skinny, blah, 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 and then boom, massive head, which is a little awkward for this to go around. It's like this head wasn't the original design for this body, which it wasn't. So you got all the hinges. These hinges, again, if you mess them a little bit, it comes undone, so you have to be a little bit careful with how you do it. It's nothing against the figure. It's best to have tighter joints than loose joints, but these shoulder pads will come up slightly on their own. I don't know if it's supposed to. I didn't actually read the instructions, but it doesn't make a big difference. And if you put the arms up too far, they'll drop down anyway, so dealer's choice if you want to care about that or not. You get your ankle tilt. You can get a little bit of forward and back. Swivel knee, universal join, waist swivel, heads on a ball joint. Wings, I feel like they should go back further, but they only stop there, and they don't really sort of stop there. You know, when you're pushing something between points where it wants to stop and stay, and you get to like stop halfway. If you get what I mean. Swivel, hinge, rotation at the wrist. It's a nice looking thing. It is, honestly. It's a very nice looking thing. Until you bring in the weapons. So weapon storage, you got a couple more options now. So you can finally put them on these internal ones and try and hide them that way. You can plug them back where they were and have them there. You can plug them into the sides of the legs and sort of just point them back and hope no one notices they're there. You can put them in the hands, but again, because of the way the peg's all the way at the back, it looks really awkward. Well, there's a peg on the back of the shoulder, but because there's a wing there, the only way you can use it is if you put the arm at least to there. So she can't put her arms down. But from there, she's kind of got Seeker arm cannon, but there's a massive gap, and it doesn't work. Basically, it does not work. So the only place I've found to make them look even remotely useful, and even then it's still not a good option, is the back of the forearm. So you put it there. And there. And now if she ever goes to pick something up off the ground, she's in a lot of trouble. It's like she's got crutches. If anyone's ever used crutches, you know how awkward they are if you want to do anything. Like, if you drop, like, a coin on the floor, you want to try and pick it up. You ain't going to. It's awkward. And if someone's, like, a third-party company or anything, they 3D print just, like, little pistols. If you could just put, like, a little pistol on there and give little pistols, even if you put them under there, wherever, you could store them on the legs, they'd look so much better. Just 2 little pistols. Give me 2 little pistols in her colours and I'll be happy. These null rays do not work. Size comparison. There's a Speedy Blur. Now bear in mind, she's about the same height as the Legacy Deluxe Prime, so this is what Deluxes are usually these days. Okay? So she's alright. I suppose I could bring in Magnificus just to make her look tiny, because he's huge. I like this figure. I don't like the weapons. That's it. If she had better weapons, she'd be fantastic. She'd be top of the list. You know, like, she's still got thrusters in the back of the feet. She's got pegs in the bottom of the feet. You could store the weapon there if you want. And I kind of like seeing these like corrugated pieces. I kind of like using those as like thrusters. So she's also got a backpack for flight. Otherwise, it is literally just a backpack. I don't know. I do like her. I like having a version of Slipstream. I want Shadow Striker to go with her. Even though that Shadow Striker mould is nothing like she should be in the series, but we'll deal with that as we get to it. If we ever get to it. But that being said, I've gone on far too long talking about how I don't like these weapons. But she herself is actually quite cool. She's got a pseudo Starscream thing to her. But she does definitely have like her own flavour to it. It's not just like girl Starscream. Unlike in animated. Okay, anyway, I'm going to scarp her. So, I should be ugly, I should be wretched, and I shall see all of you in the next one. Toodle pip, ladies and gents. Acha. Bye-bye.